What's going on, everyone, and welcome to the Trail Theory Podcast. I'm Brian.
I'm Alex.
I'm Austin.
And I'm Pfeiffer.
Welcome back to another episode of the Trail Theory Podcast. Hope everybody's having a wonderful, beautiful day today.
Yeah,
it was good, actually. I went to the Natural History Museum with my children and my family.
Oh, the Cleveland Natural History Museum. Was it $90?
I don't think so. I think
$88.
I'm not sure.
Okay,
I haven't been there in a minute. That's a fun place.
Well, they reopened it.
Yeah,
right?
They just renovated.
It's a renovation.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
I haven't
it's
been
done?
since the renovation.
Yeah, it's done.
Yes.
Oh.
Yep, it's
Probably
done.
a couple months ago.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was still kind of far off.
No,
I was wrong.
it's
No,
done.
there was one day
Dunzo.
a couple months ago that I was going to take my kids either to that or the art museum, and the art museum was free, so I decided to do
Nice.
that.
Yep, that's a good
art
one.
museum.
But Natural History Museum, I heard
It was good.
I heard it's dope.
It was cool.
Tonight we are going to go over what is happening these days in backpacking, camping, outdoors, etc.
Yeah.
It is another articles episode.
Articles.
6.
6, I think.
So
It's
get
kind
your
of like it's kind of like 5. We had a 5.5. So yeah. this is
so
6.
get your
6.
bifocals on and get ready to read.
Yeah, we're gonna stay quiet.
We're just gonna put it on the screen.
You can
and
just
have you
listen
read
to
through.
it.
Yeah, we're gonna put this up. I'm gonna give you the 6 minutes it takes to read this article, and then
That's not how we do it.
Everyone
Real quick,
read.
though.
Everyone read yourself.
Yeah, read to yourself.
Yeah.
Real quick, though, if you haven't subscribed and you haven't
Yes.
liked and you haven't done all the things
Share.
on all the platforms, please
Yeah.
take the time and do it now.
Who
We
was
really
it this
appreciate
time?
That.
Did you guys check?
Oh, it was Peter.
It was Peter.
Peter, you're
Yeah.
watching.
I know.
you're watching. You need to subscribe.
So
do.
for
Peter-
for the listeners and the watchers, and
This is funny, yeah.
and for me, explain to me, where are you seeing this name?
All right.
I'll show
this
you
is now-
after.
we've
We
now-
gotta
we've
talk
now
about
We'll
it
show
off
you-
mic.
we'll
We
show you
put
after.
Mike on blast.
Right.
Okay, hold on a
Thank you,
second.
Mike.
Now there's Peter. How
I'll
do we
show
know-
you off mic. Don't worry.
Yeah,
It's
inside baseball.
This
Okay.
is
All right.
this is hilarious though, because we did this the last episode. I think it was episode 98.
Sure,
where
yeah.
we specifically called out Mike for not subscribing.
Yeah.
And
the day after.
no. Well, we recorded the episode, which we do all these way in advance, right?
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah,
It was
so in
the day.
advance.
It was the day after we tracked that episode. Where we're like, Mike, you're not subscribing. You need to subscribe. The day after, we got an email saying that Mike had subscribed to our YouTube channel, and I took a picture. I was about to shit my pants. I was like, how did he know? The episode hasn't launched yet.
It was too good.
So
Yeah,
he's
it was really
gonna
funny.
listen to that episode and
Mike-
be like, man, these guys really they put
we're
me on
on
a
it.
fucking
Yeah,
wanted
we put you
paper
on blast.
poster.
Mike, thanks for subscribing. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Peter, it's
Yeah.
your
Peter.
turn now.
It's Peter's
Subscribe.
turn.
So yeah, do that.
Yeah, Peter Griffin.
Oh
All right,
who
so,
wants to start?
Articles. Who's
Articles.
got? I have a nice one that isn't. We can choose to go in as much or as little detail as possible, but I saw it and I'm like, I'm saving this as a bookmark.
All right,
for
Pfeiffer
future
is
discussions.
I love it. So this
So-
has been stewing for a while. It's been sitting. It's been fermenting. You've had this one for a while.
No, I just found this one. Today.
Oh, I thought
Just
you
today.
bookmarked it.
No,
and
no,
you're
no.
like, I'm
when
going to save this for a future episode.
When I saw it, I am bookmarking it because it'll help us. It's
I
good for
see.
us.
Are you
So-
a reference not only for now but in the future?
Exactly. Yes.
Hold on. Interesting term you used, bookmarked, because are you using Outside app right
I
now?
am. Yes.
Okay.
Well,
so
just the website. I'm not on the. App.
I just right.
Yeah.
But I just realized, because I also subscribe to Outside, which comes with like Backpacker magazine and all this other stuff, right? That's a huge ecosystem of things. And I just noticed that you can bookmark articles on their platform.
Ooh.
And it saves it to your profile. So when you go back to home, what are you doing?
I moved the treasure chest and then I tried to move it back and it was getting all stuck on the rug. So ignore me.
But anyways, if you have a profile with Outside or
Yeah.
with Backpack or whatever, you can go back and look at your previous bookmark.
I was
articles,
doing
which
it
is
the
really
old-fashioned
nice.
way, where I'm just like saving
Through
the
the
link.
website? Yeah. That's
But
He printed it out.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
Save it.
Right.
Put it in a
his
binder.
MapQuest
Right.
file.
I was gonna say I still
like
print all
it.
my map quests out
It's
when
nice.
I get
Yeah.
directions.
It's
No, this was on Outside. 9 quiet destinations that cut out all the noise.
Oh.
And it was just a few days ago this was published. But it's just a list of places all of which I want to go to, but they're specifically known for the quiet and just like remoteness. And
Is there any on that
Awesome.
list we've been to?
Well, I'll go through it really quick. So we have Big Bend Ranch State Park in
In
Texas,
Texas, yeah, okay.
Olympic National Park in Washington.
I wanna
which
go
You've
there.
been, haven't you?
I've not been
You've not
to
been
No,
to
none of
Olympic?
us
I
have
thought
been.
you did.
No.
We have Mount Tabor Park in Portland.
Ooh, okay.
Niobrara National Scenic River in Nebraska.
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 Interesting.
Dixie
Sad.
National Forest in Utah. And Green Bank and Spruce Knob in West Virginia, which Spruce Knob sounds familiar.
That's
Bruce
so
Dom
familiar.
sounds familiar.
Oh,
I think
Paul
we've been,
has hiked it.
Well,
Has
it's
he?
because it's part of isn't it part of the Triple Crown?
No.
No?
It's not. But
McAfee Knob. is
Mac-
what you're
we
thinking of.
if we haven't,
You.
we must have
he's
been
done
close to
Spruce
it.
Knob. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. Listen, our producer is off for the night.
Well, for part of the
Paul,
night.
he'll be here
We,
for part of the night.
we did give him half a day
Half a
off.
day
Yeah,
off,
half
yeah.
a day off. You know, he earned
With
it.
no pay.
Yeah.
He got
of course.
He did a really good job, so he got a pizza party and a half a day off.
Chuck E. Cheese.
If he gets back
he
in
hung out
time,
with that weird ass rat.
if he gets back in time, we'll ask him about Spruce Knob.
Yeah.
And Frank Church River of No Return Wilderness. So Frank
River
Church
of No
River of No
Return.
Return
What a
Wilderness.
great
Add that to the
name.
list. That's like
That's why it's so quiet, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is in Idaho.
That's like World's End State Park. Like, why
Right.
are we
Yeah,
not going
right.
there?
There's
Oh, man.
100
I
mile
want to go there.
100 mile wilderness in Maine. And last,
Yeah, I
but
feel like
not
you're naming
least-
more than 9.
No, this is 9. That was 8. Deer Haven, Badlands National Park, South Dakota. So Badlands.
I have been
a
there.
quiet
Yes, you have
place.
been there.
So I'm saving this, but I'm like, all of those are, I mean, that's the list.
So it's
So,
interesting though.
I wanna go to all of them.
I was wondering. I was thinking Perry would be on there
Yeah.
You'd think.
because it's one of the most like. Well, I know it's different, but it's the one of the most like areas with the least amount of light pollution.
Right.
So I would kind
So
of assume
remote.
like that'd be pretty like quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's.
I mean, this is only 9. Maybe it's number 10.
and these are. I mean, these are pretty
Come on,
remote.
man.
These are
Maybe.
pretty remote places.
It's it could be
What?
also like relative to major highways or something like that.
Oh,
Could be,
yeah,
I'm
'cause
I'm
even
sure
Perry-
there's like a rhyme and a reason to why, right? And that's cool. I think that's cool.
Riddle me this though. Why make a list of 9? Why don't you just go to 10?
There aren't
Yeah.
10. There aren't 10.
Take it
There-
to
there's only
11.
It stops.
Take it to 11.
But this one goes to 11.
Do you think it's something with like? It's got to be something with the.
There's only
algorithms or
9
something?
quiet places
man.
in the
It's
United
more.
States.
It's more clickbaity. It's
Like,
like,
someone's
They
gonna go.
determine that there's like a decibel that's like, oh no, once
Yeah.
we take it to 10.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
It's
people
like-
won't
I think
click. It's
there's a
too many
threshold.
things for people to read if
It's
it's
why
10.
they price things at 99
Yeah,
cents.
99,
You know,
yeah,
they don't
right.
go over the
They're like,
full
oh,
dollar.
no one's gonna read this if it's
I
10.
hate
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, and I think what plays into this, you mentioned Perry. I think what plays into their list is literally noise. Of
I mean, I would
quiet,
hope.
quiet, but also the presence of certain noises. So if it's like waterfalls and trickling, it's like when they're
Yeah.
places that are known for very good ambiance, I guess, if that's the way
Yeah,
of
sure.
putting it.
Yeah.
A lot of good nature
Do they,
sounds.
Is there any like does it give any reason or a rubric as to how they decided? Like could also the noise be there's not a lot of people there?
People, yeah.
I think
that has to be.
I'm
triggered
thinking
into
that's
it
what I'm
somewhat.
getting just based on the remoteness of some of them. But yeah, enticing destinations deemed quiet by the organization, and you know, so it's just leaning into the.
They went
so
in with a
far from
decibel meter and they were
the,
just like-
the distance from roads
Number
is
8.
big, so it's like so far from noisy roads and towns that they're bound to be silent.
Well,
Yeah.
and so many roads put off so much noise.
oh my gosh,
So much.
So like, I
noise.
mean, how many times have we been out? I mean, we've crossed highways before, right?
Right.
And it's like I don't think we've ever been like
I wonder what
offended by noises like that out on the
I
trail,
wonder what
but-
the distance is
hear
from a
What?
the.
I just got
go
the
ahead.
best idea.
Oh geez.
Listen,
Are we going to say the same thing? I'm going to
No.
ask a question.
No.
I feel like you're going
You
to.
do that. You do that a lot. I know where you're going. And it's like no, that's
it's
totally
like
not right. He does it all the-
I got an idea. All right. So obviously, like there are thousands of different like Spotify accounts that you can find like nature sounds, white noise, outdoor noise, all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Like there's so many out there. I would love to do that for trips that we take, so we have a recording of the sound and
like
ambiance and
like
nature of
field
what we
sounds,
have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Field sounds
recordings,
for
yeah.
our trips.
We did talk about
We'd
doing
have to
that
shut
like
up for
2 or
long
3
enough,
trips ago. We talked about doing it at
Like the Zoom
the
recorder,
Blacks.
Yeah.
we
Like
did.
this was
Yeah.
like, dude, I'm having a tough night's sleep. I'm like, man, I slept so well at this campsite in Cranberry.
But
We
you
have the
can't
gear
let's
to
go
do it,
pop
too.
it up.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, we
but
do.
you can't do it when anyone's sleeping, especially me, because
Not him.
Then
And not him anymore
Yeah.
either.
The buzz saws.
Yeah, the
buzz
buzz saws.
saw.
Yeah, you guys aren't allowed to be around.
But for the record, that's exactly what I was going to say. Except no, it wasn't.
No, it totally wasn't.
What I was going to ask is, I wonder how far from like a typical highway you can still hear it dead at night in nature when it's totally dead silent.
I'll bet
I
it's
bet
further
it's-
than you think.
I'm just curious the mileage. I know it's further than I think. I'm
Can
saying
you?
like
Can you?
10.
Oh wait, Paul's not here.
Paul's
Damn
not
it,
here.
Paul. He's still eating his Chuck E. Cheese.
He's
I'm
still
curious,
cashing
though.
in those
I
tokens.
wonder if anyone's ever done that, because it's got. I can think of places we've been on the trail where it's been at night, pitch black. It's when the quiet finally sets in. You still hear that
hum.
Yeah,
just
right.
the road noise, and it's like, man, we know it's far off, but anyway. So
Just a quick
yeah.
Google search.
Oh, did you? What do you got?
No, it's too. I can't figure it out. now.
We'll get back to you, I guess.
Nah.
No, we won't.
If you know the answer,
So I'm saving.
Comment below.
I'm saving those 9. Those would all be, well, the West Virginia one not, but those would all be travel for us, significant travel trips for us. But
Yeah.
those are on my list. That's my first.
I love
article.
that.
What do you guys got? What jumped out at you? When
I'll
you were, on the interwebs?
I can go or
Go ahead.
Are you good? Okay, so this is an article about something that probably opens up like a wider conversation, but this is kind of really recent.
we like wider conversations.
So obviously we know the destruction that Hurricane Helena did at the Appalachian Trail. This article talks about 114 miles of the Appalachian Trail reopening following, relief efforts, which is great because they're trying to get the AT back. And get a lot of it cleared out. A lot of it has been done with, volunteers, with chainsaws, getting out there and making sure that people can pass carefully. The one thing that I saw that was really, really interesting is that the amount of registrations for the AT this year is way down.
Way down. I was going to talk about that too.
Yeah. And number
Really?
2,
Yeah.
a lot of the local AT clubs are asking for people to flip flop the trail this year.
Yep. A lot of people are starting to flip flop the trail.
So, and what that means is basically, starting in one place, going halfway, and then
coming back.
reversing, right? Which is
or they're
sad.
starting northbound and going southbound
So
first.
starting in Catawba.
Well, that's-
which just gives more time for more cleanup, I guess.
Yes.
That's not quite flip flop. That's
No, that's not. That's going. That's
But
northbound to south. Yeah,
also that's hard because you're starting super late.
yeah. It depends on the weather.
It depends on the weather. But the flip flop thing is the thing that the clubs really want people to do, is because there's still going to be a lot of work being done on the trails during the spring and summer, and they just don't want these crews to stop for hikers. It's just impossible to finish while there's hikers
Right.
going in a lot
It's
of
not
places.
ready to be pressure tested.
It's
yet.
interesting. So they're down 30% compared to last year.
30. That's the number. Yep.
Yeah.
Dang.
And so one of the things that I read
we need to
too.
pump those numbers up.
Well, one of the things that I
rookie
saw is that there's the towns, the small towns that the AT has along the way that hikers will go into, through hikers will go into to resupply or to stay or to eat or whatever. Some of the towns are like, no, we need you guys to come because we
they
need.
thrive
That's
on
their
it.
business. That's how we survive.
They will struggle.
And we're going to struggle if this doesn't happen, especially with all the catastrophic things that happen with the hurricane, right? And then there are some other people that are going, no, wait, you can't come in. You need to go around, or you need to go back down because we can't finish what we need to do to rebuild or finish. So there are huge two sides to the story. There's no divide line. Or there's no gray area.
Well,
It's like you're either on this side of the line or
there's
this side of the
no real
line.
win either
No,
way, right? Like,
No.
I mean, it's kind of, people aren't going to not do the AT because people plan years in advance to do it.
Oh yeah.
And then, you're essentially telling people to shift their plans. That's a tough scenario. And
I'd be curious
obviously,
if anyone's listening that's planning on doing the AT this year, comment below or shoot us an email or something like that. Let us know what your thoughts are on it, because it is really an interesting topic to talk about.
So one place that I do scour for articles is the Trek.com.
Yep. Trek is great.
The Trek has some good articles. It also has a lot of like individual hikers that write on there about their experiences, whether it's like, hey, day 19 on this trail or whatever they're doing. And there's a few that I saw that like one person was like, why I decided not to do the AT this year. And it's kind of for that reason where it's like, I don't know if it might be a little bit more dangerous because maybe not everything is operating at the way that it's usually operating.
Go normally,
right. So that might be scaring a few people. It might not just be the same experience, and it just might be a rough couple years until things get
and I
healthy.
mean, you gotta think it's already hard. I mean, anything that's going to make it more difficult is going to at least make people think.
Yeah, let's go do this hard thing and make it harder.
Right. And then, or even beyond difficulty, but uncertainty of like, we may get to a point and it's just, we're forced to stop. And you don't want to go into a thing that massive and then have a likelihood of like, I'm just,
another element.
Right.
To what is already hard.
One more variable that you do not have control over.
I get that.
So that is tough.
It's a hard spot to be in.
And would you, I guess, having never done it, I would, the flip-flop's not a terrible idea. I mean, if your goal is to do it, and you were already planning on doing the whole thing, it does take away from the achievement a little bit, I guess, in the sense that you're not doing
I think there's
geographical,
that, like, people end to Katahdin, there's like a whole, like, moment, and like everybody wants that moment, right? Like,
I think so.
I mean, I guess I'd be remiss to say, like, if I did it, I would want that moment.
Oh, for
like,
sure. I'm trying to weigh, like, if I was in that position, is that a good enough consolation prize, or am I just like, nah?
Oh, I did it that one weird year, right? Or one of those 2 weird years that existed, and I'm one of those, I'm sure they'll have a name for it.
Here are the top 10 reasons that they are suggesting.
Wait,
this is,
we have full 10?
This is a full 10? This is the AppalachianTrail.org too. So this is the...
I'll find one more trail to put on that 9 list, and we'll just...
Perry Valley Loop.
Yeah. So here are the top 10 reasons they're giving to do a flip-flop. It gives the trail more time to heal.
Yeah.
Gives the trail workers and the maintenance people the space they need to work, which you mentioned. Right. It gives the trail towns more time to recover, which we talked about a little bit. Helps extend the business season. Reduces your impact on the AT, which is the same thing as gives the trail more time to heal.
So there's really none.
There's really none. Come on, guys. Experience more solitude while still finding community.
It's a reach.
That is a reach, I think.
More solitude?
Yeah, that's what it says. Start on easier terrain.
Because the solitude part, just to go back to that real quick, there won't be that many flip-floppers. So there'll be less people doing that part of the section compared to all the people that start at the normal starting place.
Yeah.
That's I think what they're saying.
They're also saying flip-floppers report that they had the best of both worlds. They did not have to compete with the other hikers for a spot to camp in, but also experience the amazing community that the AT is known for. So, yeah. Yep.
Are they just trying to hype up their own idea? And just be like,
maybe
everybody loved it.
Who wrote this? Flip-flopper?
Here's the start on easier terrain.
For sure.
You start in Shenandoah National Park.
It's like that one guy who likes like what's that crappy tasting licorice?
Black licorice.
Black licorice. Yeah, it's like the only people selling black licorice are people who like that.
I like black.
You like black licorice?
I'm not making a statement about black licorice. I'm just saying a flip-flopper for sure wrote this.
Speaking of which, I got a bag of black licorice over here for sale for $5.
No one's gonna take it.
You should eat black licorice.
You.
It's like this is a tangent. Sorry. It's like I totally get like obviously there's so many like health blogs and Instagrams, influencers, stuff like that with some like good information when it comes to like food and nutrition and all that kind of stuff. But whenever they have something to sell, I always, even if it's good advice, I'm always like, F you. Like, no. Like, are you really trying to help us, or are you just trying to sell your product? Even if it's a good idea, even if I'm like, yeah, dude,
sometimes it's both.
You don't buy everything that Dave sells?
You knew who I was talking about too. God, that's the guy I was thinking of.
I know. I feel the same way.
All right, number 8. Experience mild weather. So you maybe not have to go through some of the more colder or hotter times. Have a longer weather window to complete your hike. That's the same thing too. So there's really 8, not 10.
When your teacher gives you an essay, 2,000 words, you're just like
double space.
It must be 2 pages, and you're hitting that, double 0.25 space.
Oh my god!
Every noun has like 3 adjectives.
Well, hold on a second. And then number 10 is attend flip-flop kickoff to get critical information about the trail.
All right, what?
Is there a registration fee?
They got a logo.
Bro.
So wait, one of their reasons for why it's better is so you could go to their kickoff?
They should sell flip-flops.
Look,
so I want to know this. I want to ask this question.
I'm on the side of just doing the whole thing.
Just because of that list. Yeah.
I'm on record saying I would just do the whole thing.
So
we are also not thru-hikers.
I'm not flip-flopping.
I don't.
Not yet.
What would be? I just want to talk about this just because I'm curious. Is there like a consortium of folks that are going the opposite way?
I think yeah. In the article that I was reading about,
like, I feel like that should be more of a thing.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, the flip flop thing, take it or leave it. I'm not dismissing the merit of like protecting the trail. I support that. I support the folks that are volunteering their time. But the flip flop thing's a little quirky to me.
Yeah,
and also I'm
just curious about the just going the other way.
I'm with you in the sense that wouldn't that, I don't know what the overall damage is and where specifically it is, and if it's to infrastructure or if it's into just trail maintenance. Because if it's trail maintenance type stuff, it's like that's something that could probably be navigated through if you know it's coming, and you could probably. But if it's campsites and like availability of infrastructure, that's different.
And it's the hotels and it's the restaurants and stuff like that. One of the hotels that a lot of people stay at, I think in Virginia, is like down to studs right now. Like they had to gut everything out. But to your point, it on the backpacker article that I was reading about this, it says the third possible solution would be to abandon a typical northbound thru hike. About 80% of the hikers that register with the ATC report that they expect to hike from Georgia, so south to north, and only just a handful of hikers reported that they intended to do a flip-flop or hike southbound. So
why wouldn't you hike? I'm sure there's so many articles, but why wouldn't you hike southbound anyway?
I think it's the weather window.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean from Maine to Georgia?
Yeah, right.
Oh, because it starts way later, and then also by the time you get down into the southern states, it's boiling hot.
Yeah, it's just so smoky.
Yeah,
hot.
It's cooler to start in Georgia in the early March.
Yeah,
right, and then it gets warmer. In the Northeast.
It gets warmer, and then you get so that's why.
Yeah,
it just makes. I mean,
it's
I guess
the same
it makes
reason
sense.
why it's the same reason why they do that on the PCT too.
I'm just thinking,
like,
man,
it goes south to
you
north.
could time it so it's not like blistering.
Didn't Air Force do?
Went north to south.
He went north to south.
Air Force started north, and he ran into weather issues and snow when he was in Washington.
Yeah, immediately.
Because I mean, that's the reason you don't do that typically is because you're following the weather up.
He was humbled very quickly.
Right. Yeah.
In a very dangerous way.
No, that is it's an interesting topic. I would be curious to know if there are thru-hikers that are doing that. Let us know what you're doing. Let us know if you decided to not even go. That'd be interesting too.
I feel like that'd be
heartbreaking.
I mean, I know a couple people who've done it, and they spent years getting ready for it, or like a year or 2 years, whatever. And it's like just to then do all that work to save all that money, a lot of times to kind of put your life on pause.
Yeah, it's a huge commitment.
And then to say, well, crap, I guess I'm not doing that.
Yeah, what are you gonna do instead?
It's tough,
like crazy.
Man.
It'd be hard.
I'm not gonna be like, I'll just sit at home and play video games for
okay. So
3
I'd be
months.
curious if there's a dip in the AT. Is there a spike in the PCT?
I'm going to do the AT, or I'm just going to sit on my ass and play video games.
Yeah, it's like you got to replace it with something. What?
It's so different.
That's a hard decision.
I know
man.
it's so different.
It's so different.
Is like the NCT going to become like the thing? Are
don't
people going to
know.
be like, "Yo, dude, I did the NCT
instead of doing the AT"?
I
That'd be
don't
a
know.
hard.
I think there's way too much history behind it
going from
make a switch
the
like
AT
that.
to the NCT or the PCT or like the Florida Trail or something like that. Like those are all
Gators,
so
man.
different.
Yeah.
Oh, very different.
They're all
but also,
so
we got to remember, this
different.
is not the whole this is like a 200 to 300 mile chunk,
right?
Where
Helene just devastated everything.
Exactly. So this isn't the whole thing; it's just
Right.
a chunk. It's going to be a rough, maybe 2-3 years, and then I think that.
You think it'll take that long?
Well, just for full.
Yeah, by the time
To get
everything's
right back around.
You know,
Yeah, okay,
to have
I
it
see.
feel like, I guess, quote unquote, normal again. I think that's how long it'll take. So,
Yeah.
It's the towns. I mean,
could.
that takes those that were just completely leveled. It's like that takes.
Smash,
you don't
man.
just rebuild stuff and it's like we're back to normal.
Yeah,
it's like
and
no.
it's like you got to rebuild it, and then you got to rebuild your infrastructure. It's like
and
everything's different.
And the
man.
people that support that are just completely uprooted. So that has to have time to build its way back too.
Yeah.
you know, it's like it's
dude, it's like
Everyone's
like a
not
forest
sitting-
that burns down, man. It takes
Right.
time.
yeah.
Brian, do you have another article?
I do.
Lay it on us.
I have one that says hikers rescued from whiteout on Mount Washington in all-night operation.
Why do these
I had
articles
this. I
always
had this
come
one
up?
too.
Do you?
Articles of places
It's always
we've been.
about the whites.
So
The whites.
usually when I see that someone had been rescued from Mount Washington, it's usually my first thought is, well, were they prepared? Like, did they bite off more than they could chew? Did they have the necessary gear in order to do that? Especially if it's someone going in the wintertime,
Yeah.
right? That area is so famous for crazy, crazy weather.
Yeah.
We've experienced
Volatile.
it.
Yeah.
It is the hardest section on the AT, right? And it's brutal and it is insane during the winter. I don't think I'd ever try to tackle it during the winter.
Yeah.
No.
There's
Well,
dude,
it's funny
yeah.
when we were there and we were staying in the shelter,
Yeah.
the bunkhouse.
Yep.
There were a bunch of books, and there was
That's
one book
right.
that I was reading that was about the weather, and it showed in a diagram why that area of the United States had the worst weather in America, and it shows the jet streams all basically going together right into that one area, and why it always got just hit so hard, you know, and has the highest recorded wind speed on Earth.
yeah. It was like 231 miles an hour.
We have
Something
pictures of it
crazy.
somewhere, but yeah, it was
Yeah.
insane. So we're
Two-
let us know
two-
about these
two
guys.
people from Massachusetts. There were two females.
Okay.
That were actually ready for what they were about to get into. They had the necessary gear in order to do this trek. They were experienced backpackers. They're experienced hikers. And so when I first kind of read that through the article, I was like, okay, that makes me feel better, right? But the storm came out of nowhere and immediately presented whiteout conditions on the high peak.
Okay, let's stop right there for just a second.
Okay.
Imagine being on the trail
Yes.
in whiteout conditions.
Right. We were in fog conditions,
Just
and
imagine that scenario.
maybe we'll put some video or something like that of just what we experienced when we were there. It was
Imagine.
cold, rainy, and
I was gonna
Sounds
say
insane.
Well, and like it's making me think back to when we were there, and I know it wasn't whiteout, but there were sections, and
It was gray out.
it was.
A little soggy.
I think maybe I felt like the worst visibility section was when we were like at the peak basically, and we were climbing those wooden steps.
yeah.
And we're on steps, so like where are we gonna go? We're going upstairs. But it was, if I was just in the middle of
typically
nowhere and didn't know, I was on a trail maybe and didn't know exactly where I was going or didn't know how far the next stop was or whatever, and we weren't obviously heading towards a structure of some kind, that condition would have been a little terrifying.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that would have caused me to stop and say, like, I'm just gonna not move for a minute. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like, I don't-
Well, I think like if I was in a whiteout,
right? Like, what do you do?
What do you do?
I mean, I wouldn't move.
You have to-
I think
you
about-
can
Then you
walk off a
freeze.
cliff.
I mean, yeah, but then you get so you can get lost so quickly.
I know, but that's a hard spot, dude. So the two hikers, they when it got bad enough, they called 911. They were able to call 911, and I don't know if it was that they had a phone that had cell service or they had like an InReach Mini or
Right.
something like that. But they were able to talk to 911 and provide their GPS coordinates. Okay. At that point, they were about 5,000 feet of elevation. And I think when they were, I think they were on a phone because they were the rescue team that they were talking to was trying to get them back onto the trail. So they got off trail, and the fish and game officers that were with them on the phone had said, "Oh, you guys are like 24 feet from the trail," and so they were attempting to get them to figure out how to get back on.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
And find where it was again. Now they did find where it was, which was good. But at that point, it was ridiculous. There was too many fallen trees. There were huge tree wells. Do you guys know what tree wells are?
No.
In the snow during the wintertime, when the snow builds up like how it does, and it covers the trees, it covers the trees all the to mid or a little bit sometimes past where the tops are. But the tree wells, there's actually snow that's loose where the ferns from the tree trunk are. Oh, that little gap. And if you fall, you shoot right down and you like sink. It's almost like quicksand. Kind of.
Oh my gosh!
So you fall into like a well, right? And it's just snow.
Because it's not as packed all the other
right there,
snow.
right? Exactly.
So
it's not like, hard. It's a soft
like
snow, and you
there.
just whoop right down. So
yikes.
they were experiencing some of that stuff.
That's nightmare fuel.
Yeah, dude. They were experiencing some of that stuff, which was ridiculous. And so at 8:30 p.m., the authorities began mounting the rescue.
Wow.
So 8:30, it's dark.
Oh my God! Yeah.
The hikers just huddled up in an attempt to keep warm in the temperatures that dip below freezing.
I don't like that.
The dip below. I'm sorry, not dip below freezing.
Say,
dip below zero.
Yeah, there you go.
And the wind speeds were 50 to 60 miles an hour.
Dude, you're just getting pummeled.
Bro.
Pummeled.
By midnight, the Mount Washington State Park snowcat had reached the summit of Mount Washington, which is 6,288 feet. And the team from there went down to find where they were coordinate-wise from their last known spot where they had talked to the officers before, right? I think it was a 9-person rescue team, and they got to both of them alive and coherent shortly before 2 a.m.
Oh my God!
So 8 to 2,
8:30 to 2 a.m.
Dude, that's the most crippling moment of your life.
Dude. So crews immediately set up emergency shelters and began to warn both of the hikers. And after about approximately 3 a.m., the hikers were able to move on their own, which is really good. So about
Oh my God!
an hour of warm-up time before they were able to move on their own and get down with
you ever
some
play
help.
on the snow, you get inside, you're a little frigid. That's like a minute.
Right.
This is an hour.
So both of them are alive. One of them was flown out to a hospital to get treated for some cold exposure problems.
Yeah,
they didn't specify if it was frostbite or if it was and anything else. Yeah, I'm sure both were probably.
I'm sure they were
somewhat
hypothermic.
hypothermic.
Yeah, 100%.
warmed up. You can have some lasting.
What's interesting is both hikers purchased a safe hike card, which is voluntary. It's $25 to have a safe hike card.
Keep talking. What's that?
Which exempts the buyer from potentially having to pay their charges for a rescue in New Hampshire.
Interesting.
So it's
It's like trip insurance.
Rescue insurance.
Huh.
Yeah.
For 25 bucks.
Which is smart. Why wouldn't you do that anyways, especially if you're going to go in the wintertime? But $25 could have saved them from paying however many thousands of dollars it would have been to get rescued.
Interesting.
Think about that.
I didn't know that existed.
Right?
And I mean, that's just in New Hampshire?
I mean,
it says for that one.
Right.
For that
I know
area,
that type of thing exists, generally speaking.
Yeah, like
Lots of
I had to
places,
get
but
trip
yeah.
insurance, which,
Right, when you
which
did
qualified
Rainier.
me for Rainier, which gave me helivac and paid for
more than
medical
$25
bills and all this
though.
stuff. It was
So it was 100 something.
It was 100, a little like $120 or something like that. I think.
Which even that is
Worth the cost.
but
Absolutely,
worth the cost. Oh my god, absolutely.
25 seems like nothing.
But
Man,
more
whites.
than 160
Whites.
people have died on that mountain since recording began in the mid 1800s.
And we just snuck in there. We're like, oh yeah, we'll do this.
it's just gonna go up. This is gonna be
Okay, but I'm sure like
we were-
90%
I know.
of that's during the winter.
Yeah,
I think
know.
so. Yeah. I mean,
I will say I was surprised. I knew we went into that knowing it's extreme, but it still threw me for a loop when
That
we were on some of those
place, yeah.
But
sections.
the fish and game officers that were talking and kind of presented the article to Backpacker or what, I don't know how it ended up coming to be, but they said that if they had not had the amount of gear that they had, they would have died.
Yeah.
If
they were
weren't-
prepared.
If they weren't prepared like they were, they would have died for sure.
Dang.
So they were prepared for what they did, but the conditions got so bad, but they were prepared enough to live.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's
That's
important
right.
to know.
So I think this is now the 5th story that I've heard now that is a good reminder why I won't be going to the Whites in the winter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not because like, listen, I'm sure that there have been some winter trips there. The photos are gorgeous.
Yeah.
The trip is amazing. And it's probably like, oh, it was great. It was hard. I'm sure. But then you hear these ones.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like winter backpacking in these remote, dramatic places it's scary.
Yeah.
There's a certain,
And I mean,
like, I'm not looking for that thrill. Personally.
You said it was 160?
160.
Right. So, I mean, 160 is a big number, but it's also a really small number.
So, in the grand scheme of things of like how many hikers do that every year, I don't disagree.
So, but still, it's enough to just be like, do I want to,
I mean, I saw a photograph of the high peaks region in the Adirondacks the other day with full covered in snow, and it's like I don't want to do that in the snow either.
Yeah,
I don't.
I like the way we did these.
Yeah.
And it was hard without. I mean, gosh, I can't imagine how hard it would be with.
Oh my
snow.
gosh, dude!
It was
How
tough.
difficult was it with no
brutal.
snow?
Right,
Just
rain
wetness.
and wind.
Jeez.
All right, I got one.
Do it.
Man accused of staging fake bear attack to cover up a murder has been arrested.
What?
Wow, this is
Listen,
recent.
This
is recent.
is like 6 months ago.
All right, recent enough.
An accused murderer who allegedly killed a man stole his identity and staged a fake bear attack to cover up the crime has been arrested in South Carolina following a 3-week manhunt. I won't go over all the names, details, and stuff like that, but he killed the man to assume his identity. So he wanted to steal this man's identity, but
Oh my gosh.
they received a 911 call from a man claiming to be a hiker named whoever who had been injured after a bear chased him off a cliff. It was actually the guy who killed the other guy.
Right.
So he was pretending to be the guy who died, saying, "Oh my God, I just got chased by a bear off this cliff," but really he killed the guy and then made the call later.
Dude, man.
One detective laid eyes on the body. The injuries were not
Of a bear attack?
consistent with a bear attack or with a fall or anything like that. It was definitely like blunt force trauma on the head. But
Like, man, this is a real advanced bear.
yeah, right. He's using a club,
hell,
dude. Oh my God, no.
This bear had weapons.
Yeah, dude, this bear had weapons, but it's just crazy to think like.
So wait, hold on. All right, so bad guy.
Terrible guy.
Well, yeah,
there's a bad guy and
kills
there's
a
a
guy.
dead guy.
He murders somebody, and then
Just
becomes
to take
that
his
guy.
identity?
Well, that's what he was attempting to do.
So I take
Who is
you
that?
out.
Who is
Hold
this
on.
guy?
So
Who did he want to be?
I take Austin out. I'm now Austin. I throw real Austin's body down a cliff and blame it on a bear.
Yes.
But I'm Austin now.
Yes.
So if he had
approach.
gotten away with it, he'd just live on as Austin, and then who
Right.
knows who that guy was?
Right.
Who was he saying that guy was? Just some random?
Not Austin.
Maybe him.
Maybe him? Okay.
I don't know. That detail wasn't in there.
Oh man.
This guy, the murderer, has a history. So he was probably like, I
don't
need to
say.
clean up my history,
Right.
a violent history, and so
Clearing
he
out the cash.
used violence. But it's crazy, like to stage
Bro.
a bear.
The man wakes up every day and chooses violence.
Yeah, I mean that's in reality. Yeah, not even.
Jesus
Wow.
Well, very unfortunate, and for the guy that perished, obviously, and we're very sorry. That's
that's
awful.
horrible.
What a plot.
Yeah.
I gotta think, if you're gonna do something that awful, there's gotta be an easier way to do it.
You got it. There's got to be.
I mean, not to get too
Listen,
morbid, but
you
like
can't get away with that kind of shit.
A
That
boat and a
is-
wood chipper.
there's a right.
Oh
Just
my
Fargo
God.
this. Come on,
Fargo this.
Like,
got caught.
I know. Yeah, I'm glad he got caught. I hope he.
Yeah.
If I said it's alleged still technically,
Yeah,
so
right.
if he is
Even
guilty,
Dexter
which-
got caught.
then I hope he rots in prison or worse.
Did he? I didn't watch that far.
I don't know. Maybe.
That is a
You'll
very
have to watch and
complicated.
find out.
That is a very complicated strategy. I guess I'm just trying I'm trying to
it's a
how do you get there?
strategy.
How do you get there? Is this?
I mean,
I don't know.
Clearly not smart.
Did he
enough
know this
because-
guy was like on the trail every day? And he's like, that's the time.
Yeah,
That's,
who
you
knows?
know.
He probably maybe he knew the guy
Maybe.
and was just like, hey, let's go camping. and then
Oh, shit, a
staged
bear.
Oh, he fell.
Stage one of like not the most rare thing in the world, but it doesn't happen often.
No,
so, like,
yeah.
You're not playing
it
the
raised
odds.
some flags for sure.
You're not playing the odds very well when
No.
you're saying I'm going to pick something that basically never happens statistically. Like, I'll blame it on that.
Hey, I'm in Iowa. I just got attacked by a shark, man.
Dude.
Jeez. Hey, well, wow. Most unexpected article from
Yeah,
Austin.
it's not we have to get. It's not a long one you have to discuss. It's just very interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you, thetrek.com, for that one.
People
People
suck.
I have one more, but you guys go.
Actually, hold on. Brian got one of my main ones.
Sorry.
Mine.
Austin got one of mine.
Yeah, we're all sharing.
We don't
here.
talk about this at all before.
So hold
episode.
on.
We just
I
come
was
to
like,
the-
Come with articles.
We
this
just
one's
sit down and
actually
go.
I found it right before we started recording, so some of this might be on the fly, and it's really topical because we happen to be talking about this exact thing right before we turned the mics on. But there's an article on Outside that says I used an infrared sauna for 30 days and my problems sort of melted away.
Sort of.
And I didn't have time to read it. I'm wondering if it's making fun of infrared saunas or if it's legitimizing them, because
hold on.
all I see now are those ones on Amazon where it's like for $20 you could buy
You
the
get, like,
in-home
the hood.
infrared sauna or whatever.
Yeah.
Like on Wayfair or whatever.
Right,
You get,
yeah.
like it looks like a little it almost looks like a large laundry basket of some kind. And it's just
I haven't
sauna.
looked into the whole red light, infrared light.
Okay, so
treatment or whatever,
yeah,
but-
what's the difference?
It's saying there's a difference between traditional saunas and infrared. Traditional saunas work by heating the air, which means the air temperature has to reach somewhere between 185 and 200 for the body to start sweating. In contrast, infrared saunas use light to heat the body up directly, requiring much lower temperature, like 140. So it's still it makes you sweat, just different ways. So one is a warming light underneath that you put the food under.
I was just gonna say, like one, you're kind of like,
Do you want fries or rings?
Are you steamed vegetables or a McDonald's cheeseburger?
That's exactly it.
Yeah, it's got the coily
Right.
Dude.
Which makes me think infrared
red
is just
light.
gonna like dry you out.
Yeah,
or it's just
yeah.
gonna be
Oh,
man.
You just spritz yourself with a water bottle.
Wow.
Get a little moist.
I don't know anybody who's used an infrared one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
So
know.
yeah, what they say consensus? What they experience.
It says after the infrared, it describes what went through and sweating and all that stuff. Afterward, my face was definitely glowing and soft. I felt at ease. Later that night, I slept like a baby.
Where is this article?
It's on Outside.
oh,
So it says
no,
what
we're
happened after a month of
Teen
infrared
Vogue.
sauna. So I guess acne cleared up. Didn't lose any weight, which I guess was one of the goals of doing this.
There's a lot of other factors that go into losing
Yeah,
weight. Right.
right.
You can't just sweat it off.
Yeah.
Muscles were less sore. Chronic pain improved. I felt less stress. So I saw some positive impacts, apparently. This is going to be
I
one of
had a
those
good
articles
time.
where by the end of it, it's like they don't actually take a stance. It's
Yeah,
like, here's
I
the
hate
pros and
those.
cons. But
Oh,
anyway, I
God.
just thought it was funny because we were just sharing sauna stories about just ridiculous things that people do in saunas. But yeah, infrared, I guess. And what's hilarious is all the ones I see that call themselves infrared saunas, like the really cheap ones that are on Amazon and stuff, aren't even saunas because it's a little steamer. So
Right.
it's just steam. It's a steam room, which is
Right.
different than a sauna.
A steam
which is
room's way
Which is
different.
definitely
Yeah.
different than an infrared sauna.
well,
so-
don't they make those infrared masks too?
Yeah.
I feel
Oh,
like
have you seen
I
those?
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
like
yeah.
you look like a 1980s
Yeah.
hockey goalie when you
Yeah.
have it on.
You
Yeah.
look like Jason,
Yeah,
with like
yeah.
a red
No
glowing
thanks,
head.
man.
I
No
think
thanks.
most of the infrared saunas on the market today are actually just steam rooms with a red light in them.
Yeah.
That's my theory.
Okay, so riddle me this because I've been
Crux.
doing the sauna. I like the sauna. The sauna works for me. What is the difference between a sauna and a steam room? I
So,
don't know.
I think
a
temperature.
Temperature is one, but the steam room is pouring water on hot rocks, actually making steam. Right.
Okay.
So it's not just hot air; it's water in like hot water air. Moisture.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's very
But
moist. moist air.
it's not as hot as a sauna, right?
I think it can be.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I think it
I
goes.
think it can be.
140 to 165 or something.
And
Like,
then sauna's like over 180, 185
to 200 or
Yeah.
200 plus. So a sauna is there's just a heating element in the room, heating the air. You're not pouring water on it. It's not making steam, not making anything more moist. It's
Right.
just hot.
Yeah.
So it's like walking out of an airplane and being in the Middle East. It's just it's just hot.
Yeah, right.
Dry heat versus steam room, which is still hot, but you're walking into like a cloud.
Right.
And
the
just breathing
humidity
water.
and okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Which is
That makes sense.
I can't take them because the one at my gym, like I just opening the door and looking in, you just can't see.
Yeah,
it's just pure white.
The main difference between
It's
a
like
sauna
hiking
and
in the whites.
Right.
Yeah.
The main difference between a sauna and a steam room is a sauna uses dry heat,
right,
while a steam room uses moist heat. So
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, and I just feel I've been in steam rooms and I just feel like I'm choking, just like I'm just breathing.
I mean,
in
you
water.
could feel that way even in a sauna, so I can't even imagine you know it having that moisture.
The sauna
that doesn't sound.
The sauna has a
pleasant.
significant lower humidity compared to a steam room, which is almost 100% humidity.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
not
just a puddle.
not a fan of that.
Saunas are also typically hotter than steam rooms.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
But-
stick with the sauna.
Thanks, Paul.
So, but anyway, if you've ever used an infrared sauna versus a regular sauna, or you have had good experiences or bad
School us.
experiences, I just every time I hear infrared sauna now, I just can't get the pictures out of my brain of like the most ridiculous items that are marketed right now, which are just like put this little fabric thing in the corner of your living room, and you see like some guy's little head poking out of a red light.
The little
behind
head.
it.
The one that I keep thinking of is like on Wayfair, and it's like quilted.
Yeah.
and it's kind of like rounded on one end, and it's just
Yeah,
like this
yeah,
little
yeah,
like
yeah.
zipper thing
Where
you
you
get
have
in.
just the head sticking out.
That's so insane.
Yeah, where it's literally a lady's head popping out, and it's just this little
Dude,
chair like
come on. I understand that like saunas are hot right now, but like it's
But who wants that in their
pun
home?
intended.
A lot of people do that,
I
actually.
know. I know.
It's popular.
I would love a sauna in the house. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Well,
the one we
yeah, of
used, an actual one, like the one we used.
legit
at that,
one, yeah.
Yeah, but if you want
dude.
a
Cabin.
if you want a real one, it like there's no cheaping out. It's like
No.
it's
$2,000
very minimum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
minimum.
I love the one at my gym has like the rocks out,
yeah, but they're not real.
but it's like who are you trying to fool?
I know.
Because not only is it like rocks. They're not rocks, like real rocks that you
Right.
put the steam on, but there's also a sign that says "Don't pour water on the
Right.
rocks."
Yeah, it's mechanical.
Just don't have the fucking rocks,
Right.
dude.
So you don't have to put the sign.
the
up.
one we
You
were
should
using.
go in there every time, and every time you see someone in there, just be like, "Hey, man, those aren't real rocks."
Hey, did you know those are real?
Those rocks are real.
Or I should be like, "Are those real?" They'd be
there
like,
you go.
"No, dude."
That,
You can just have
that
rocks
goes, back,
I don't know.
that goes back into what we were talking about beforehand with sauna
Etiquette.
It's like, just listen, I want to go in there. I want to headphones
Yeah,
on. I
nobody
want to
talk to
meditate.
anybody.
I don't talk to me.
Hey,
while I'm in
actually,
there.
sauna etiquette and trail etiquette aren't that far off.
Yeah, not really. Don't bring a speaker and listen to headphones if you're going to do it. And
Right.
don't
Just,
be quiet.
stick to yourself.
Keep your towel on.
Keep your towel on. Oh man.
I got one more.
Yeah, go for it.
Go ahead.
Okay, this is funny. This is a good one. All right. AI-powered robotic exoskeletons are
saw
helping
this.
hikers go farther in China.
I saw this. Yeah.
After a Chinese-based tech company released robotic exoskeletons last month, hikers got the chance to test them and hike up the steep Mount Tai. This is ridiculous because it's like it's interesting because one, it could help us go further and farther
Well, yeah.
in this world, but at the same time, it's like,
Well,
do we really want to be wearing exoskeletons around places?
So interesting. You guys probably don't
Yeah.
remember this. I sent something to you guys maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago.
How do you remember this?
Because I sent it. Arcturix had partnered with a company that created exoskeleton AI pants. So you wore these
remember
pants,
this.
and it had the machine built into the inside and the outside of the pants.
Okay.
To assist
Right.
with walking. And I love the idea. And you know why I remember this is because I was going to add those pants for
Because you had your REI gift card rewards, and
No.
you were like, "Oh man,
they do not offer those there. No, I was going to add those pants in for our
Gift
no
guide?
limit kit.
Oh my God.
Because I'm pretty sure they're like $5,000 or something
Well,
like that.
what's
for the pair
interesting
of
about
pants.
this is, what they talk about when they were like tested these out was for like this ceremonial hike. It's yeah, it's 4,000 feet of elevation gain in only 4.5 miles, so pretty steep. It's something that people do every year. It's challenging, but it's also a sacred site of pilgrimage. Thank you. That emperors used to climb to claim to be closer to God. This year, it obviously looked a little different. So the exoskeleton, it operates like little robotic legs. It costs $8 to $11 to rent for the weekend.
That's not bad.
Not bad at all. Apparently, positive results helped them feel light and fast, like someone was helping you pull you uphill. Okay. It only weighs about 4 pounds, and it wraps around your knees or your waist, and it provides synchronized assistance. The AI software senses movement, tracking the pattern until it can establish a rhythm through which to provide mobility assistance. I feel like a better use for this is not for hiking a huge mountain, but maybe just everyday use for people who can't
for
walk.
People who can't walk very well.
And maybe there's probably
for walking
that.
assistance.
There's probably that is happening.
Well,
but
I think that's for sure happening.
This is
that
definitely
exists.
more.
I think the long and the short of it
Yeah.
is good technology. Hiking might be a little bit of an odd application.
I think so.
I think it's more of like a novelty application for it.
Yeah. So
I don't know. These Arc'teryx ones that they paired up with the company called Skip are pretty freaking cool.
So
I mean, they're $5,000, but
I'm sure
struggling.
they're cool. Novelty and cool can be the same thing.
This isn't novelty. I think this is.
I don't want to wear that hiking though.
You don't have to. It's not made for you.
That's
it's made
my-
for It's
but
made.
that's
for,
my point.
It's made for people that are having trouble walking.
Yeah,
Well, and that's hold on. That's what I want to.
support.
That's what I want
Yeah,
to talk about.
That's
Yeah.
what I completely support.
Because when you
Yeah.
said that, my first thought went to access, right? So it's like if there's things that can improve access for people who otherwise wouldn't be able to because of physical limitations or disabilities and stuff like that. That's one thing. Cool. I'm there.
Yeah.
But if you make it a theme park, I don't know if I can get on board with that.
I think I'm on the same page.
There is a piece of this where
Come
we're
wrench
doing
your legs, man.
We're
Check it
doing
out.
this because it's hard, and not everybody can do it. If everybody could do it, a lot of people wouldn't be so into it because it's like what sets you
not
apart from
everybody
anybody
likes
else.
to go outside though.
Well,
Yeah,
I know,
that's
but
true.
still, if it becomes something you can do on a weekend and pay $5, and like there's effectively no effort or much less than there would be, then it's like, does that diminish the thing itself?
I don't think
right?
so.
As opposed to
I
like,
guess it depends on the person. Like, if someone did that on an experience you've had, would it diminish your experience?
not
No?
mine, no, but I think it's still, I don't know. I have to think about it more. I feel like it takes away from something. But if we're giving that tool to someone who, and that's why if you're using that because you need it like for everyday stuff, and that allows you to go do a hike that you wouldn't have been able to do,
That's
awesome.
Dope.
But if you're
agreed.
a 12-year-old kid who is not in the shape, not even close to being in the
12-year-old
shape to
kids
do
are
it.
just springy. They have no problems hiking.
Let me. I won't use a 12-year-old kid example. I'll use a 36-year-old, but has not been making an effort to make this a reality for yourself for a long time, and is not physically capable of doing it. And it's like, oh, I'm just going to go do that thing. I don't know. I don't know if I struggle with that a lot.
Yeah, I think there's
You put your foot in your mouth a few times.
I know.
There. I was
did.
letting you go, bud.
So I don't know if I'm articulating it the best
Yeah.
way. But
I get what-
when you turn it into a theme park, I think that's
I
my
get
big
where you're
thing.
going with it, but-
It doesn't.
no,
you know.
I'll pick up what you're putting down. All
Yeah.
right. So I agree. I think that if you need the assistance, you need something to help you push you a little bit further, and even if you're if there's a mild handicap in any way,
Right.
Like that's awesome. But yeah, I agree. I think for like everyday hikers, normal hikers, the four of us, for example, I would be embarrassed for you if you wanted to use that.
Oh yeah.
We don't need them.
And maybe that's it. Maybe that's the diminishment
If you
part
don't
of it.
if you don't need, or you're not having a trouble walking, then leave that stuff for people that actually need it,
That need it, and give them the
that
experience.
have some kind of handicap that wouldn't be able to do it otherwise. Give them the opportunity to be able to see an incredible thing.
But that was
And
not
I'm
the
cool with
vibe
that.
I got at all from this article.
From the article.
It was more like,
when you said it was like $5 to rent, that's what triggered. It was like, oh wait,
That's
yeah, no,
surprising.
that's what I mean. So I think this is more of like, hey, you want to do this thing that's like pretty hard,
Yeah.
and you want to cheat a little bit. This is how you can cheat a little bit.
Yeah.
This isn't
Yeah.
the same as like buying a nicer pair of boots.
right.
No.
So here we go.
Yeah.
I love the technology. I don't like the application.
in this scenario.
In that
one.
scenario.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's my take.
Yeah.
It's really interesting though. That kind of that stuff's cool. Like for real. That
I agree.
I mean, from like a medical technology standpoint and what that allows us to do, it's cool and terrifying because
It is,
we're
I
just
agree.
going to be cyborgs in like 20 years. But I mean, it is
Like,
what that
I can't
allows.
walk, but now I can walk.
Right.
Yeah.
What
The
that allows
mobility
people
is
to
very
do
cool.
is pretty insane.
Was in the movie Grandma's Boy, where the guy he's got like a defibrillator or something in his heart, and he thinks he's a cyborg all because he has like a pacemaker or something like that. I love that.
Shit.
We're all gonna be like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you have any?
It's cool stuff.
No,
Did you?
I've been under the weather.
I know. It's okay.
Yeah,
It's okay.
Yeah, it's all right.
I didn't want to.
You're powering
we have
through,
skipped
though.
Alex
Wouldn't it
before.
have been fun to just if I would have at the end said, "Wow, guys,
Wow,
I did it again."
I was kinda
That's what
hoping
I should have
for it.
said.
Dude, I didn't want to assume
he
again.
told me right before we got on that he didn't have
Okay,
anything,
I
so
didn't
that's
hear- I
why
didn't
I've
hear
been
that.
kind of
Okay.
skipping over
That's
him.
I mean, we
That's
did it
fine.
last time. We'll do another Alex follow up.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
No
an
big deal.
Alex only articles episode.
Yeah,
There you
part
go.
two.
That'll
again.
be the next one.
Do you guys want me to finish? We don't have to talk about the article or anything like that. I just want to say congratulations
To Mike
not
for subscribing
to Mike.
Soon to be Peter.
Deanna Doane, she rewrote the record books.
Yes.
With the 1,100 mile Florida Trail this week, or last week technically. She is the fastest known time, not just for the women's fastest known time record, but also for the men's.
That
Congratulations.
article
Wow.
says fastest known human.
She
Wow.
is just absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That
Very
is
cool.
such a feat. It's
So
a hard.
what was her time and date and what was the?
She did it in 19 days, 12 hours, and 13 minutes. The previous known time, and it doesn't have for the women's, but just for the men's that she had shattered, which was Hunter Leanger, which was 21 days, 11 hours, and 8 minutes. So
Dang.
she shattered.
Blistering
Dang.
fast.
Shattered,
crazy.
dude. Incredible.
Wow.
I mean, dude, that is a hard ass trail just to start with.
Yeah.
It is hot and humid, and you're going through the Everglades, and
There's
you have to worry about
gators.
the fucking gators. And you, dude,
She's
it's
moving
a-
too fast for the Gators. They didn't even see
Bro,
her.
it's brutal. It's a brutal trail. And also, I didn't really even realize this, but I looked at the trail, and it is not like your typical trail either. So you start, obviously, like in the Everglades in South Florida, right? And you go up, and then right where Orlando is, there's either a right or left way that you can go.
You got to go around the mouse.
It's so interesting, dude.
You're probably right.
It's so
you gotta get around Mickey.
interesting. And then after that, you hunk back up, and then you go around towards the Panhandle, and then you go in and out, and then you kind of go into Pensacola.
What's
and
the
finish?
What's the mileage difference between left and right?
Dude, I don't know.
Like, why
I was
would you choose
trying-
one or the other?
I was trying to find out
Why is it not just one?
I
Left
don't
ear
know.
or right ear?
I was literally all day trying to figure out why is there this gap, and there's another one that's around a lake too, a really big lake. So there's two sections where you either choose a right or left fork.
Choose your
What's
own
the lake? Is
adventure.
it Okeechobee?
I want to know what the pros and cons
Yes.
of each side
Yeah,
is.
I do. I've
Yeah.
been on that lake.
Okeechobee.
Have you? Yeah, it is.
I wanna know
That's
what
a big lake, dude.
It's a huge lake in the
Massive.
middle of Florida. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
I want to know the pros and cons of each of those routes.
Yeah, I was on USDA.gov today looking at the routes, and they've got a really nice
United States
interactive
Dairy
thing.
Association?
Yes,
Sorry.
that's correct.
I don't know.
That's correct. But yeah, she shattered it. It was supported. Congratulations to her
That's
and her
awesome.
team.
Very cool.
Just absolutely amazing.
What a beast, man.
Astonishing.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
Yeah. She also has the fastest known time, I believe, for the Grafton Notch Trail loop, which is in Maine, which is like
At that point, do you just
62.5
go
miles.
start like knocking out all the others?
I would
don't know, man.
imagine.
She's
I'm just
she's
gonna,
obviously
you know.
an ultra runner,
She's
right?
got to be
And,
sponsored.
you know what? It didn't even say if she was or not. I mean, she had a team.
Knock 'em out.
But
Yeah,
I
just start
want
chopping 'em down, man.
I want to go into a little bit more about her and find out, what she's about and some of the other trails that she's done and stuff like that.
Dig
the,
it.
The ultra running is so interesting to me, especially when it comes to trails. I love trail running, and not that I'll be an ultra marathon runner. I've tempted the idea of doing a 50-mile before. We have a local one that Austin and I have done
Just
sections
as long
of,
as there's
but,
no altitude.
I don't know
for you.
about that. Why don't you relax, you guy. Anyways.
Ended on a heater.
If you guys have any articles or anything like that you found interesting, shoot us an email. Let us know. Email's trail3pod@gmail.com. Leave us a comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Peter.
And we will see you next time.
What a fool believes.
The Trail Theory Podcast is sponsored by Audimute and Audio Technica. Music by Dan Koch.